Hello everyone, welcome back to the James A channel, and this is my 500 and kind of 600 subscriber special. It's been a long time in the making, and it's part of the reason that I have this mic right next to me right here, because essentially about a week ago I recorded this video pretty much the exact same way it is now, and all the boxes were opened, all of that, but because I didn't have a mic, I was using the phone audio. It was very echoey because of the nature of the room that I'm in. It's the only real room I can do this in to have a big setup. So yeah, the audio quality wasn't great, but of course that was the only proof I had that the boxes were being opened for the first time. Now, since they're all kind of opened, for all you know, I could have just stuck them in boxes. So I'm going to leave an unlisted link to that in the description. I might just put a couple of minutes of it, not the whole thing, just so you have the proof. And yeah, doesn't really matter. The point is, you guys don't know what's in the boxes, and that's kind of the fun of it. Even if I hadn't had these boxes open beforehand, I still already know what I bought from them. And in terms of what I bought, it's a mix of things. Some of it is for me, some of it is gifts for family and friends, but also a couple of things I got for pretty cheap, and I thought maybe I can be a little bit cheeky and sell them on. Don't worry, I'm not a scalper, but sometimes you just see opportunity buys, and yeah, you take your chances. So in this video, as well as unboxing these, because it's a subscriber special, right? I'm also going to be talking a bit about how the channel started. I'm going to be answering some questions posed by the audience. So hopefully it's not too long. The original recording was about an hour. I don't want to take that much of your time, but I'm already waffling a bit of the intro, so we'll get into it. We'll leave this box for last, the big box, of course, because you know, it's like Christmas, right? You always start with the small ones and go up to the big ones. Anyway, so I've got my computer down here, which is what the mic's connected to. But we'll have a look at the first question while we open the boxes. So the first question I've got, it was on a post. Thank you for 500 subscribers. I had a couple of comments. And the first one was by Donnie T, and he says, or she, well, I'm assuming because Donnie is a boy's name. Anyway, what are two underrated and two overrated Doctor Who stories? Also, congrats on the subs. Thank you, Donnie T. Two underrated and two overrated. Right, we'll go for the small one first. I think the easiest way of doing overrated and underrated, we'll do one overrated and one underrated from the classic series, and then one overrated and one underrated from the new series. I think that's fair. But the first package, it is, you can probably tell by the size of it, it is I'll make sure it's the right way around for you guys. It could be a DVD, it could be a steelbook, it could be a book. I'm going to tell you now, it's the best of both worlds. It's a steelbook. Any guesses what it is? I'll slowly reveal it for you. It is, we'll chuck that over there, enjoy the sound of that. That was quite loud, my apologies. But yes, it is the Doctor Who 60th anniversary steelbook, the specials steelbook. Lovely artwork. Now, I already had this one, but I went on Amazon about a year ago, Amazon AU, and they had this for about 50 or something incredibly cheap like this, and I thought potentially it could be a good gift. I'm just going to buy it. There weren't too many left. I actually bought it and refreshed the page and it said sold out. So if you're an Australian or a Kiwi and you were desperately trying to get one of these, I may have accidentally taken it from you, so my apologies. But we'll do a little display of things. So we will, can I manoeuvre my way around? Yes I can. We'll stick that there. That's not going to balance. So what we'll do now, we'll put that like that, and maybe we'll have some things to balance it with. So we'll go for one of these character options ones, shall we? Now, so I will quickly say, underrated and overrated from the classic series. Underrated is a difficult one. Keys Marinus. It is one of the earliest Doctor Who stories. It's still trying new things. It's like a mini Key to Time. Tyrion Nation, one of the only stories where he's not writing for dialects. And there's some good characters in there. I like the Doctor there. There's an endless number of production errors, and that like cardboard, cut-out borders look shit, but we can look past it. It's just fun. It's got that old 60s B-movie sort of charm to it. I like how there's slices of the jungle, that like ice area in the mountains. You get Donald Pickering in the last couple of parts, a sort of veteran Doctor Who actor. So I really like Nikita Marinus, and I think it needs a bit of love, and potentially if season 1 gets a collection set, it might get that. Right. Before you said overrated classic series story, it's an online exclusive character options, and it's not one I was massively keen to get. I don't know if you can tell from this, so we'll do a slow reveal, and it's the 15th Doctor and Ruby. Now, I wasn't a huge fan of wanting to get the figures. I mean, they're great figures, and didn't even know he came with the landmine from Boom. That's a nice addition, but it's not like I was desperate for these, but I've kind of learned the character option sets over the years. Just buy them. They are expensive, but buy them and you probably won't regret it, because at the very least you can sell them or maybe make a little bit of money, but once they're gone, they're gone. And I got lucky because the first couple of ones, the Jungles of Mechanus Dialect 2-pack, and the Second Doctor and TARDIS from the Abominable Snowmen, I didn't choose to get those and I kind of regretted it, but luckily I got them as presents, so that kind of... Sorry, that's got a bit echoey, but that kind of made me realise with these figures, just buy them and you probably won't regret it. Honestly though, I think I just got them for security. I don't think I'm going to open them. They're nice figures, but this isn't my favourite era, so I think there are other figures that I prefer to have on display. Overrated classic series story is a hard one. Oh, I'm trying to think of a popular sort of era. I'm going to say The Mind of Evil, John Pertwee, season 8, one of his earliest stories with the Master. I like the first part of it, but it just becomes a bit of a run around a prison for 4 or 5 parts, and I've never been a massive fan of it. I don't know why. It's got good ideas in it. It's Don Hawson who did Inferno, which is one of my favourite stories. But yeah, I've never really got on with The Mind of Evil, unfortunately, although I do like Benton almost going undercover, James Bond, detective sort of role, very nice. Underrated from the new series. I've been watching a couple of the 10th Doctor episodes at the moment, so it would probably be something like, oh hang on, we'll just get into this. It's a collection set. If you want, you can try and guess. We'll do a slow reveal of it. And season 20, Peter Davison, 2nd season. Not one of my favourite all-time classic seasons, but look, it's got some good stories. Obviously, it's memorable for having the 5 Doctors in it, and a couple of stories like Enlightenment I don't mind. Man, the audio, the more I move away from the mic, it's probably going to sound quite echoey, but it's better than the original. So, underrated. I'm doing everything I can to try and not think about one, but I'm going to say, actually, I do really like Series 5, and I think one that doesn't really get talked about enough would be The Vampires of Venus. I think that's pretty underrated. It's just a good story. It's in a bit back further in time, I think. Good characters. I can't remember. There's like Francesco and the other vampire woman. They're both good. And good soundtrack from that as well. When the Doctor is climbing up the clock tower, it's a very overdramatic moment, but I loved it as a kid with the music. So I would say that. Overrated. I am thinking... Oh, I'm going to say, it's a fairly recent one. I'm going to say Dot and Bubble. The first time watching it, I didn't see the political subtext, so that might have had an impact, but I wasn't a huge fan of it. It was okay. I liked that it was a bit similar to the Macro Terror, but not one of my favourites of that series. And actually, what I will say about that story is I do love Ncuti Gatwa's outfit in that one. That would probably be my favourite of the 15th Doctor's outfits. Next one we've got, it's actually an interesting one, because when it arrived it was a bit ripped up. Luckily the contents were not damaged, but we're starting with another collection set, a more recent one than season 20, that's upside down. Season 7, we'll stick that up here. my favourite Classic Series season, and to be honest, I wasn't a huge fan of the cover. I know it's pretty popular, but I think I would have preferred something, because that was an Earthbound story. It wasn't too wild, but the colours sort of make it seem like it was out there. It was just gritty Doctor Who, and I really enjoyed that. And I think maybe a bit more red for Inferno and sort of the blood of all those unit battles, I think would have worked better. But it's a good season to have. The special features look exciting. I'm interested to see how much of an improvement those colorizations are, because the copies of Ambassadors of Death, Doctor Who and Silurians, are a little bit dodgy. So that will be interesting, but a very nice one to add to the collection. We've also got another steelbook, and it is the Celestial Toymaker. Now, this one I wasn't a huge fan of at first, mainly because the cover's a bit out there, and I prefer the more faithful animations that really stick to the story and what we know. I think this is one of those stories where it makes sense to go a bit out there, but I think for the future I want more, ideally, more like the 10th Planet. That was a very good animation. Unfortunately, I think we're getting this more cartoony stuff, so something like Power of the Daleks or Evil of the Daleks would also be nice. But I haven't watched this yet, even though it's been out for like a year, so I will be interested to watch that one. And that can go there. Right, next question is from Jersey Simons 2557. It's not actually a question, but it's just keep making the good content. That's all that matters. If the substance is worth viewing, then they will come for that reason. So just keep up the good work, and that's the only reward you and us viewers need. Thank you. That's very nice. I've seen a couple of Jersey Simons comments actually. They've been very nice towards me, so I appreciate that. We'll go for this one. This one's also a bit smaller. This is another classic series thing, and it's actually a figure set, and one that I was very excited to add to the collection. And I'm kind of shocked with myself that I haven't opened it yet, because as soon as it arrived I wanted to open it, but I thought I'd save it for this video, because essentially these packages, this is not just a weekend shopping for me, this is like a year, 2 years worth of saving packages for a video like this. So this one I have been eager to unbox. It is the Ruins of Skara set, another Character Options online exclusive, and potentially my favourite one they've ever done. The Moverlands and the Bomb Dalek. I'm not allowed to call it a Suicide Dalek actually, so Bomb Dalek we have to do. Yeah, always wanted to add them to the collection. The fact we even got Moverlands is just mind-blowing. And it comes with a little backdrop as well, which is always nice. Just a really clean, well put together set. And not Genesis, Destiny of the Daleks. It was one of those childhood stories. I think looking back now, it's not a fantastic story by any means, but it's certainly one that I have good memories of as a young kid. I think that DVD cover really stuck out to me, so very happy to add that to the collection. Right, we'll go for another comment, and soon we'll actually get into how the channel started, because that might be interesting for a lot of you guys. From, well, I'm probably just sparing out of your shot there, but H Blankodemos 6873. Congrats, I liked a lot the analysis on the Midnight episode. What made you think about doing that video? So yes, they are referring to the What Was the Midnight Entity Doctor Who Mysteries video I did a few weeks back. Incredibly, it got about 14,000 views, which was mind-blowing. And in terms of what motivated me, what made me want to do that video, it was a couple of things. Two main reasons though, and one is it was always on my list of Doctor Who Mysteries videos. I've only done 2 at the moment, but there are many more I'm planning on doing. Hopefully the next one will be within a couple of months. But yeah, that was always kind of top of the list, and so it was naturally one I was going to do fairly soon after the first installment, which was the War Chief the Master. The second reason is I heard pretty strong rumours. I heard there may have been a leak that the Midnight Entity was going to be returning in the well, and I kind of figured RTD, I wouldn't put it past them to definitively solve the mystery of the entity. So I thought, it's now or never. If I want to have my take on the Midnight Entity untainted by anything that comes after the original story, and this is kind of the only time to do it. And that's why in the actual video, I didn't really link anything outside the story. There were always links to a couple of audios, to stories like Wild Blue Yonder, but I thought I'm just going to stay as faithful as I can to the original story. So yeah, that's why the original one didn't really feature anything else. I thought I want to do this properly, and in some ways I'm glad that the whale happened, because it was a good story, but it kind of encouraged me to do the video in a style that actually ended up being really popular. So yeah, that was a good one, definitely. Next box has a set, right? And it is the 8th Doctor. Oh, that plastic's coming off a bit. It is the 8th Doctor collector figure set. Now this one, I have never had an 8th Doctor figure up to this point, so it's actually, for me personally, it's a bit of a historic moment, but the fact I get 3 8th Doctor figures in one is incredible. I'm just looking now, and I think, yeah, I love the original movie look. That's one of my favourite costumes of any Doctor. The dark eyes and sort of big finish look for the Doctor is nice as well. You can really see how there's that transition point to the leather jacket we get with the 9th Doctor, and then also the Night of the Doctor look, which is another really good one. So yeah, a Doctor whose outfits certainly, I think, sort of embody what the show is all about. So that's a really good one to have. Right, next I've got, it's actually a collection set, but it's a standard edition. So we'll hide it from you for now. You can guess what it is. I'll give you a little clue. It's not either of those two. It's a Tom Baker one. It is season 14. This one was available for very cheap, and I thought it could make a nice gift. And if not, I can always sell it on. Is it going to balance there? It looks like it will. That looks pretty cool, doesn't it? Yeah, a very good season actually, season 14. One of my favourites. Robot to Death. An absolute banger of a story. Got a couple others in there. Deadly Assassin, Talons of Wing Chang. Great stories in there. Next question we'll go for. Actually, well, this next question is from the Great One 1982. Congrats on 500 subs, but they list after that 4 questions, so that's going to be quite a bit. Before we get into those 4 questions, I think now is a good time to just talk about the channel itself, how it all sort of started, and we'll go for this one. Actually, before we do, I should say now, it's a nice big box, right? It's not actually Doctor Who, and while it does serve as a little nice mic stand, I'm going to remove it for a moment. Hopefully the audio is still good from around here, and hopefully that mic stays balanced. But yeah, this box is not Doctor Who, but it's one that I thought I would save as well, because it's actually Lego, and it has been featured into by Doctor Who a couple of times. There was a 12th Doctor playset, there was the Lego Dimensions figures. So anyway, big box. Right, had to cut it away there. I got a bit lost trying to open the box and ended up knocking over. But anyway, it is a Lego set. It's a big one from my favourite Lego range. Oh, I don't know how well you can see it. Sorry to the mic there. We'll take this out for now, and it is the Lego Notre Dame. An architecture set, a really good one. Oh. And I've got a couple of these architecture sets. I've got the Trafalgar Square and the Pyramid of Giza. And this one I saw for a really good price on Amazon AU, so I thought I'd get it. It's one that I just wanted to have the safety of knowing it was there. I don't really have room to build it, but look, these architecture sets are kind of like hotcakes really, so I think I'd probably be able to sell it on and even get a little bit of profit in the future if I decide to sell it. That looks really good. We'll leave that there for a little bit. We'll certainly leave it there so I can keep the mic where it is. But we'll remove it for the end because it's not really part of this Doctor Who unboxing that we're doing. I did label this the biggest Doctor Who unboxing on the internet. That comes down to interpretation really. Biggest Doctor Who unboxing on the internet with James A, right? Because someone probably has more than this. Unfortunately, it's never going to get much bigger than this for me, because if this is about 2.5 years worth of packages, then yeah. Anyway, So as we get into this next box, it is worth talking about how the channel started, and it's kind of been quite a long journey. I know the YouTube, I've only been on YouTube for about 4 or 5 months, but it all started with the Mad World NZ channel. Now, I don't know if a lot of you are aware of the Mad World NZ channel, but it's a channel where I did unreleased music from Doctor Who, from a show called Regular Show, which it's an animated show. It's maybe for little kids, but the music for that one, it always stood out to me. And essentially the unreleased music, it was, you have to mask sound effects and people talking so you can just hear the music as it is. And I don't think I was that good at it. Again, as a teenager, what skills am I going to have compared to people that work with the Adobe tools and all of that sort of stuff. But it was good fun, and it was my way of sort of doing Doctor Who content, because I wanted to do Doctor Who content from maybe around mid to late 2023. The idea never really went anywhere, and I was not planning on starting a Doctor Who music channel, or any Doctor Who channel for that matter. But what happened was, when studying or doing whatever, I would listen to Doctor Who music, and there would be people that would use I'll try not to be too technical, who would use the 5.1 audio with the dialogue channel taken out, so that you'd get essentially clean music. There'd still be sound effects in there, but you'd essentially get clean music by simply just removing a little bit of the audio with all the work done for you, by just having the soundtracks like they are on the box sets. 5.1 audio, it's a bit weird to explain, I don't really know it myself, but it is very useful for unreleased music. Now, people would upload this music to YouTube, and I'd listen to it in the background, whatever. It would be like half an hour turn left music, or, I don't know, Tooth and Claw. You get the idea. One day I went on, and a lot of it was gone. There was just little 2-minute videos by people like Jack Ardy, or The Doctor Forever, or Oswin Pond, Doctor Who Infinity and EMS Productions particularly I listened to a lot in my childhood. But yeah, it was just little bits of music, and I thought, I'll put these into playlists so that I can kind of have that music almost like in those half-an-hour compilations. If you go on the Mad World NZ channel, you can see created playlists, and they're public, so you can kind of see the stories that I was interested in, the ones that I gave playlist soundtracks. Anyway, it then came to the point where I thought, what if I just put these into one medium-sized, like 6-7 minute video, and then I don't have to keep listening to ad breaks every time it goes between one track. And I did that for Turn Left. At the end of Turn Left, I got the music from that and put it together. It was other people's isolations of it. I did have to isolate a little 15-second segment of myself, and it sounded absolutely awful. My first attempt at doing that, so that was poor. But I had the video up, and it got, I don't really know how many views it got. That wasn't really the point. I thought, oh, this is actually not too hard, just putting music together. So then I thought, I'll try it for the classic series. Someone had isolated a lot of the audio from the War Games, so I just added that with some of the BBC special sound effects by Brian Hodgson, stuck that together, isolated the second Doctor regenerating. Again, didn't sound great, a little better, but that was another video, and it kind of went from there. And eventually I was doing my own brand new unreleased music videos, not just taking other people's content, but actually giving it a go myself. From there, as I got a little bit better, Doctor Who Season 1 was coming around, so I did it for that, and that got really good views. I did it for the couple of specials as well, I think. But yeah, from there it kind of started, and it got to a point maybe around mid-2023, around the time of something like Rogue, where videos were getting a few thousand views, and I thought, this is really cool. This is a very long, rambly way, but for anyone who's actually interested in the channel, this is kind of how it all started. Anyway, yeah, I thought I wanted a bit more, so potentially I could do videos with me in them. And as you know, the channel didn't start it didn't start till late December of 2024. And that's because I was kind of planning about how I wanted to do it. I thought I could do reviews, but they're probably not going to get great numbers of likes, subscribers, all of that. So I kind of put off the idea for a little bit. I even, just for practice, I would, at 11 o'clock at night, just get a camera in front of my face and say, "Hi guys, this is my video. I'm going to be reviewing Silver Nemesis with Lady Painful and the Neo-Nazis." Cybermen, that sort of stuff, just on practice. Eventually I got to a point where I thought, it's now or never. Joy to the World was coming out, and I began planning. I got a couple of things like a microphone, a bit of computer, and tried to learn a couple of basic editing skills, and reviewed Joy to the World. It wasn't a great video. The camera quality was not very good, but it was a video, and it got some views, and it didn't do terribly well, and maybe I was a little bit disheartened by that. I maybe had unrealistic expectations, but now I know the review market for Doctor Who episodes on YouTube, it's such a broad sort of area. Even for a niche show, there's still dozens of reviews you find, and people are always just going to click on, unless you have an exceptional thumbnail or hook, people are always going to click on the confused Addy poses of the world, or the DW Fan 91s, or Tharries, or Harbour Holmes, any of these guys. People are going to click on their videos, and that's fair enough. So I think that was a lesson I probably could have learned early on, and that would be advice for you guys. Just don't have unrealistic expectations. Expect it to take time. But I got a bit lucky that I almost had a bit of a shortcut, because a few weeks later, the Melbourne Hoarder situation had an update, and that first started about 7 years ago, and there was a couple of updates around over the years, but all of a sudden there was an update. It was quite a hefty post from Aaron Challenger on the Gallifrey based forum, and I thought, why not do a video about it? It got 20,000 views or something, so about 150 subs as well. It was unbelievable. And from there, the next video was the War Chief, the Master. That was kind of in the style of what I liked doing. The Doctor Who mysteries ones, they are painstaking, but I like that. It's almost like an investigation. So the fact that a video that I was really happy to do myself was getting decent views as well, I was very happy with it. And from there, the channel, I've been trying different things. There's going to be a lot more different things coming. And this is a bit different as well, because it's me talking about random Doctor Who stuff and opening boxes like a spoiled brat. But yeah, it's the Doctor Who journey. It was not as straightforward as one day waking up and wanting to point a camera in my face and waffle to you guys. It was kind of a couple of years worth of evolving. Anyone there? Heard a ghost. It was a couple of years of evolving ideas and video style, and eventually I just went for it with the Joy to the World review. And at the moment, my reviews are doing pretty well, and hopefully this does very well. I don't know, it's quite a random thing, but yeah. So that's kind of how the channel started, in the least waffly way possible, even though that was a lot of talking, but hopefully you found that kind of interesting. Next, we've got a Doctor Who figure, which I have wanted for so long, and it was always just so expensive. But being re-released, I've got this for about 50 NZ dollars. I've been talking in dollars the whole time. This is NZ dollars, of course. What would it be in pounds? 50 NZ dollars, like £20, £25. It is, from Remembrance of the Daleks, Davros. Emperor Davros. An absolutely great figure. I love the design of this. I don't think I'd like it in every story, but it works for the context of the story itself. Remembrance of the Daleks, a very good story and a highlight of the 80s. So really happy to have this one in the collection. Run out of places for them, but we'll stick it there, because trust me, this last package will need to be sort of sprawled across the front. That's a little clue for you as to what it might be, but we'll put that there. And before we get into this next one, we'll get into that massive questions left by the Great One 1982. Their first one is, what inspired you to start this YouTube channel? And I think I kind of probably answered that in my little explanation before this, but what inspired me to do the channel, I would say it was being a Doctor Who fan, but wanting more ways to express my love for the show. Being in New Zealand, being in Wellington, New Zealand, I've barely met anyone sort of my age or in general who are Doctor Who fans. There might be the old guy that you see in a bookshop who will say, oh yeah, I watched the Daleks and the Sea Devils back in the day, but it doesn't really get any more than that. And in New Zealand, the truth is there's so little exposure to the show. You might go to a bookshop and they have some old Target novels. You might go to a D&D store and somehow in the back they've got a dusty box of B&M figures from God knows how long ago, but yeah, I kind of thought I don't really get that fulfillment from talking to so few people, and maybe doing a channel would be the way to get that. And I think it is, because I get to interact with you guys, even if it's not face to face. It might be through comments. Even just doing the videos kind of satisfies that need, I guess. And I think almost people kind of knew that. Well, actually, I think as a kid, I wouldn't go around advertising, hey, I'm a Doctor Who fan. I certainly didn't wear shirts with TARDIS on it, or Dalek or whatever. But I think around the time of the Mad World NZ channel, I maybe had the confidence to let people know, actually, I'm a bit of a Doctor Who fan. I'd watch Tally-Snap recons every now and then in the class, and I'd be kind of known as the Doctor Who guy, but people almost respected me for it. They didn't know about the channel, but I think they almost respected that I was just this guy who liked the show, and he was going to watch a recon when he should be doing his work if he wanted. It was as simple as that. So I think now, because people know about my channel now, I think there is almost that kind of respect in some ways, because Doctor Who may be that nerdy show, but I think people kind of realise, certainly at my age, if you like a show and you're going to make videos about it, then why would it be something to be ashamed of, or to be a closet fan of Doctor Who? So I think, yeah, in terms of being inspired, because I've strayed a little bit off that, but being inspired by wanting a bit more from it, but I definitely do think I have that now, because I think having a YouTube channel and everything, it's kind of made me realise that Doctor Who it's something you can talk to people about, and it might be a bit boring for them, but they'll probably just respect that it's something you're into. Just don't waffle too much, because you still want to have friends at the end of the day. Yeah, this next one, it's gone wrong, guys, because when it arrived, and I complained about this in the other video, don't you worry. The box, well, the backdrop has been ripped away from the plastic keeping these guys in place, because it's another B&M set. It's the Resurrection of the Dalek set, but the plastic, you can see that it's coming off. So these Daleks have been shaken about all the way to New Zealand from the UK. Marvellous. Look, they look fine. Resurrection of the Daleks, it's a good story. The plot is ridiculous, the amount of errors in it, but I like the design of the Supreme Dalek and the regular Troop Dalek. The colours of the True Dalek I'm not hugely fan of compared to the original B&M releases from about a decade ago, but it is good. And that can go there. And before we get into this last one, it is the most interesting to last. From that you can maybe tell there's a variety of things in there. But look, we'll get to the next question, which is, what's your favourite thing about each decade of Doctor Who? Tell you what, that question could take a while, because there's quite a few decades of Doctor Who, but we'll go through this fairly quick fire. I'm going to say 60s. I like the serialised nature of the show. I think every week, a random story leading into another. You'd have, I'm trying to think, the arc leading into the Doctor disappearing for the Celestial Toymaker, or the Edge of Destruction ending with them seeing footprints, and that leads into Marco Polo. The way that these random series would actually be connected together, it would cause a nightmare, I'm sure, for Big Finish, but I love that. It always leaves you excited, but particularly with so many missing stories, it gives you just a glimpse of what you're missing. The best cases of that would be Marco Polo, also the Savages, the Savages being seen on the screen. So I think we are very lucky that even though there are missing stories, which is a shame, the fact that they lead into each other, it means we get little glimpses sometimes, and I think that is really cool. For the 70s, God, I've been talking so much, I need a drink. 70s is another tough one. You know, for 70s, look, they've been pretty much every decade of Doctor Who, but I'm going to go for Unit. Particularly that Unit family with John Pertwee. We all love them. Just an incredible team. You could tell, like, the chemistry is just there. It always was with those lot. You can just tell they all got along. Such a shame Delgado died when he did. Even if he only had one more story in the works. It's just such a shame. Because imagine those guys being at conventions together, and in the years later, it would have been so much fun. So, yeah, it's a shame that he passed away, but the rest of the Unit lot, they even went into the Tom Baker era. Maybe the Tom Baker era, they didn't work as well, maybe there wasn't that warmness between the Doctor and the Brigadier and Benton, but the unit was just lovely. And I can only imagine what would have been like being a fan at the time and having those guys every week on your screen. Would have been amazing, I'm sure. 80s. 80s is a controversial decade, but you know what? There are some bad cases, but for the most part, I think the monster design of the 80s was very good. The Destroyer in Battlefield, Mordrin Undead with that like spaghetti on his head, he looked great. I think the Borad, he looked good. Still, there were so many good monsters in the 80s. I thought the design was great. Of course, you might have the Mara, which looked crap. But overall, I think the 80s, the monsters looked really good. And the monsters are what the show's all about. So that's good. 90s is a tricky one because that is... Well, there was no Doctor Who. That was the Wilderness Years, apart from the movie. But I'll just say... We'll just go for persistence because... There was a lot of efforts to bring Doctor Who back. It came in so many forms. And I think even if things are a little bit crap when you watch them back, like Dimension in Time, which I don't mind, but things like that, I think if you just look back, you say, they were fun to have, and it showed the persistence of fans to keep the show alive. So I do really respect that from the fans at the time. 2000s, I would say... World building, that was undoubtedly probably the best aspect of the RTD1 era. The world building, and what I mean by that is the world that he created, there was always so many layers to them, like New Earth appeared a couple of times, but linking events together as part of that world building. So when you have Elton and Love and Monsters talking about his memories of Rose and these other stories, and in Utopia when everything is being revealed with the Master, and we're getting links to in that story to Rose and Part of the Waves and Bad Wolf, not Bad Wolf Bay, and Canary Wharf, and what else? Human nature as well in that story. The fact that happens so often rewards rewatching the series all the way through. So I do really like that. 2010s, that's the decade that I started watching Doctor Who with Matt Smith in Series 7. So I would just say childhood memories. It might be a bit of a cop-out for you guys, because that's only a personal thing. So many good memories of that decade. Some really great stories. Maybe not as much, unfortunately, with Jodie Whittaker, I wouldn't say, but certainly some of those Capaldi stories. The one with Before the Flood, Under the Lake, that was a good one. The Mummy on the Orient Express, I think I remember enjoying. So some good stories around that time. And last decade, the 2020s, 2020s, that is a tough one, because we're in the middle of that. But that's a hard one. I'm just going to go for, again, you might think it's a bit of a cop-out, but I would say innovation, and I think regardless of what you think of RTD and maybe the direction he's taken the show, I think there's been some fantastic story ideas, designs of monsters and world building again, because we know that's the strength of RTD1, of RTD2, of RTD in general. Russell T-Davies, he's never lost that skill. But the variety of stories at the moment this season, we've had Lux, we've had The Well. The story in the engine was unique. Lucky Day felt fairly unique to me, but that was still a cool one with the unit. And stories like Dot and Bubble, 73 Yards, even Boom, there were so many memorable aspects of these stories, and because of the Disney budget, is that going to continue on later? I don't know. I think because of that budget, the ideas have been realised pretty well. I haven't really talked about the early 2020s, which was Jodie Whittaker, but I still think we had some good ideas. Flux would have been around that time. Even the Dialects was interesting with the Paradox, and Power of the Doctor as well with the returning Doctors is always nice. So innovation for the 2020s, I mean, I could get proven wrong. The next five years of the 2020s could not be great, but based on what we have at the moment, I would go for that. Very long answer to the question, but yes. Before we get into the other two that he's left, Packing Peanut. Oh, I better move that. I don't want that to get into the display. But yeah, there's lots of Packing Peanuts, so enjoy. I'll pick those up, don't worry. Oh, there's a shard of cardboard box as well. Nice one. And I'll move those after. This box is it was a bulk lot of Classic Series figures, and I got it for maybe about 100 or so NZD, and the plan was keep a couple, but for the most part just sell them on and make a little bit of profit on them. That's the reality of it, guys. There's quite a few, but the first one we're going to go for is Romana 1 from the Reboss operation, I think. And I already had this figure, and spoiler alert, the other two figures from this set are in there as well. I already had this figure, so it's not really one that I needed, but it was part of the deal, and maybe sell it on for a little bit. I'm surprised how cheap you can get those companion figures for these days. Next, Sarah Jane, great figure. From a good time in the show as well, from around Genesis of the Daleks, Revenge of the Cybermen. Really happy to have, I say I'm really happy to have this one, I already have it, but the fact we got this release was amazing. Definitely one of the best figures in the line in terms of the fact that it took so long to get a young Sarah Jane. It was always weird that we had the old one, and you'd see custom figures, you'd see her in her outfits from the Classic Series, but would have the old face. It was always weird. And Romana 2 from Destiny of the Daleks, probably the best figure of the three in terms of accuracy, but also is just a very good figure. And it is using the old Sarah Jane body from the Sarah Jane Adventures, so yeah. Next, we've got the Fifth Doctor. I don't know how well you can tell, but this one, he's got a different... the hair has been replaced for a much thicker, darker sort of mustardy yellow sort of colour. So yeah, it's I personally won't keep it. I don't quite know what he's trying to do with it. He's just going for a longer hair, I suppose, but it is quite sort of thick hair, which I don't really think. It's almost like a mix between Davison and Colin Baker's hair, but someone might want to buy it. It's getting quite dark now, so I am going to turn a light on. That might reduce the quality for you guys a little bit, but it will make it easier to see what I have bought. And I'm just looking now, I can see a massive glare, reflection rather, from the ring light I was using. So we'll remove that, and that improves things a little bit, doesn't it? You know what, the quality isn't that bad. I'll continue for now. The next question is, do you have any Doctor Who spin-off ideas? Oh, we've got another Fifth Doctor here from Planet of Fire, I think, which is quite a rare figure. I was lucky to get that set for about 60 NZ dollars, around 2014 or something, which is an exceptional price considering the rarity of that Amy Master. But Doctor Who spin-off ideas, boring answer, Paul McGann spin-off, please. Even if they just animate some of those Big Finish serials, that would be great for me. Certainly wouldn't complain with that. We'll move them on this side. And, but, I mean, in terms of spin-off ideas, I don't have many. I would just say the fact we're getting a unit spin-off is certainly something that I'm looking forward to. But potentially a spin-off, ooh, you know, it is hard because I don't want to say something boring like getting a companion spin-off. But if we just pretend that people aren't dead and this is all the way back in the 80s or 90s or something, I think getting a spin-off with someone like Savalon Glitz or some of those 80s characters would have been nice. I think there's a lot of characters who appeared one-off in Doctor Who that would have been interesting. Or even just a series in Doctor Who. A Doctor Who spin-off series idea could be revisiting places. So particularly for the 80s, if it was revisiting Purivale or revisiting Paradise Towers. This sounds crap now that I say it out loud, but I unfortunately do not really have any Doctor Who spin-off ideas, so I can't really criticise RTD too much and Pete McTighe, who wrote the War Between the Land and the Sea, because I probably wouldn't have any better ideas myself. Of course, can't really judge that one until it's aired. But next, don't worry, it's not a Fifth Doctor. It's the Fourth Doctor in his greyish white coat, which appeared in a couple of stories. Angel Invasion, Sunmakers, Seeds of Doom. This is from the Seeds of Doom set. I think it might be from the 11 Doctor set. But this one needs an update, I think. It's still a good figure though. I don't actually have this. I'll probably sell it on anyway, but it is a nice figure to have. And there we go. Balanced. Nice. The last question that the Great One 1982, the last one they have left is, who's the best one-off Doctor Who villain? Well, the answer to that question would have been Sutekh, to be honest, but times change. We've got Peter Davison. This is one I'm going to be keeping. I think this is quite a rare figure. This is him from season 21. Resurrection of the Daleks, I believe this is from, because he doesn't have the hat. It will be the 4-pack with Davros and 2 Daleks. Yeah, I love this outfit. I always prefer it to the season 19 and 20. I don't really know why. It looked cleaner to me, and I thought it looked a bit more striking, the colours on it. So I'm really happy to have that one. And I'm trying to think of best one-off Doctor Who villains. It's a tricky one. For sure. We've got 2 more figures, and that's pretty much going to wrap things up. But best one-off Doctor Who villain, I'd be tempted to say the Beast. Maybe the Beast doesn't do much, you could argue, but I think it's all of this stuff getting in people's heads is absolutely great. Gabriel Wolf as well is just fantastic. Got another Davison from season 21. This is the updated one with the lipstick on his lips. I don't know how well you can see that. This is very far away and it is getting dark. But yeah, that's the updated version. We'll put him next to his the original version. You can have a little comparison yourself as to which one you think is better. Maybe the colours on this one are a bit crazier, but I sort of like that. Yeah, best one-off Doctor Who villain. I'm trying to think who was in the first Doctor era or second Doctor era. Toxel's good from the Aztecs. I do like him. Donald Pickering is the chameleon. I like Donald Pickering. Donald Pickering is the chameleon in the Faceless Ones is good. But honestly, Doctor Who, a one-off villain is hard. I'm trying not to think of a one-off monster like the Flood. I'm actually trying to think of a villain. Simon Pegg, he was good in the long game. Kind of clutching at straws here. You know what? Going back to the Vampires of Venice, Signora Rosieri or something like that, whatever her name was, the lead woman in that, she was great. And it's such a shame that the actress passed away, because I think she would have been good to bring back. But that is, my answers to the questions. We'll move this box. We'll get to the final figure. And it is actually, I'm going to have to come to the camera for this, because it is a custom figure of sorts. And one that I might have to show my original reaction to it, because I was not expecting it, but it's one that I'm very happy with now. And it is another 5th Doctor, but it's from the Cage Society. He's taken the B&M one, but what he's done, he's actually bloodied his hands and put the little cut on his forehead, which I'm so happy with that. It's such nice attention to detail, and I was not expecting it, because I did not see it in the photos, but I'm very happy with that. So I don't know how well you'll be able to see that, but we've got the blood on his knuckles there, and there as well. It's not really the blood, it's like the scarring he gets from the and blistering he gets from the Spectrops. But yeah, there is the little cut on his head. I'll make sure actually, hang on. Yeah, there we go. You can see the little cut on his head, the blood and scarring on his hands, and tell you what, I should have done this for all the figures, because look how nice the quality is of that. But anyway, good figure. And actually, while I'm here, I will stick him over here, but I'll show you what I meant about this 5th Doctor with the weird Colin Baker Davison mash of hair, because it is kind of bizarre. But yeah, look at that hair. Look how mustard yellow that is. It's a bit too long. You see, that looks like Colin Baker's hair. If you weren't looking, you'd think this is Colin Baker. But yeah, interesting one. And I'll be selling that on. Did he change any others? I don't think so. Actually, looking at this, looks like the hair is quite white. I can't see the camera there. Look at that. That's weird, isn't it? Still, good figure. Peter Davison from Resurrection of the Daleks. Alright, we're going to get this display a little bit cleaned up and then we'll say goodbye. Well guys, that is the display of figures. It might be a bit more echoey now that I've had to lower the mic. I could just keep it here like I'm interviewing myself. We'll do that, why not? Nice and weird, look at that. Anyway, that is everything. I've labelled it the biggest Doctor Who unboxing on the internet. Of course, it doesn't look as big now that everything's unboxed, but we've got a really nice mix of things. We've got some of those figures slightly customified, if that's a word. A couple of them, so that Regeneration Davison I'm very happy with. Especially because I have the regenerated Colin Baker in that outfit, so it's nice to have both of them. Colin Baker actually as well, with that outfit, I'd always wanted, and it was such a rare thing, and I got it for about, well, the equivalent of about £20 one day, which was a very happy moment for me. But yeah, going across, we've got from left to right for you guys, I think. Having to figure it out now, it should be. Anyway, we've got, 15th Doctor and Ruby, very nice figures. Millie Gibson in the collection, which I'm sure a lot of people are probably happy with, but maybe not for the right reasons. Anyway, Davros, Emperor Davros, one that I'd always wanted, and that is stacked on top of the Ruins of Skara set, which might just be the best of the bunch for me, certainly of the figures. Davison from Planet Fire set, even though that's not actually from Planet Fire, which always kind of bugged me. Having to increase the... Anyway, Davison with the custom head here, which is a little bit weird. Androzani, but we've got Sarah Jane, Tom Baker, Romana 1 and 2, the two season 21, Peter Davison's. History of the Dalek set, which was in kind of bad condition, but it's fine. 8th Doctor set, which is great. Moving into the watchable merchandise, shall we say. We've got the two steelbooks, one for the Celestial Toymaker animation, and one for 60th anniversary steelbooks. The first thing we opened, season 7, my favourite season, very good to have that. A season 20, and finally a standard edition season 14, which may or may not be sold. Tell you what, we'll stick that up there. I know there's probably the ring light on it, but I don't care. It looks good. From where I'm standing, we're gonna lower the mic a little bit just so I can sort of properly give the outro with my hands free to do all this sort of stuff. Anyway, to flip my hair because it's probably a bit of a mess. Anyway, that is the unboxing video. It's also my way of saying thank you for 500 or 600 subscribers. Absolutely incredible, and only 4 months into this journey, but to have so many people supporting me this early on, it really does mean a lot. We've had some great videos, some great moments, and there's going to be a lot more coming. There's going to be the Interstellar Song Contest review. There was, actually that might already be aired by the time this is out, but I haven't watched it yet, so we'll see what I think of that. That is all from me. I hope you've enjoyed. Let me know which one of these things you would want the most in the comments. I'll let you take one now, I'm not looking, and... oh, you left all of it there. How nice of you. That's your present to me, I guess, for this video. This was my subscriber special, biggest Doctor Who unboxing on the internet, I've called it. It probably isn't, so apologies if that counts as clickbait in your eyes, but yes, thank you for watching, and I will see you later.